Morning, Virginia. This is Virginia This Morning.
Well, with the struggling economy, you may be looking to branch out maybe as an entrepreneur yourself and start your own business, creating your own job. But what are some of the important do's and don'ts before you take that step?
Definitely something important to research. And joining us are two Richmond area management consultants, Polly and Doug White, who help reveal helpful tips in their new book, Let Go to Grow, for entrepreneurs looking to expand and keep a successful business growing. Welcome. Thanks for coming in, you two.
Thanks for having us.
Everybody's really curious about these step-by-step instructions because there are so many entrepreneurs starting businesses these days.
Right, and what we say to begin with is if you're going to start a business, there's some things you probably should take into consideration before you even make that choice.
The first is you should be really good at doing the primary work of the business. Now, that sounds a little bit remedial, but we've run across a lot of people that, for example, buy a franchise and then all of a sudden realize, oh my goodness, I have to sell. But I don't like to sell, I'm not good at selling, I've never sold. And when you have this revelation after you've already invested a significant portion of your personal wealth in this business, that's an unfortunate thing.
Right, and then second, after you've decided to go into business, you have to keep in mind that it's more than just doing the primary work of the business. You're going to have to do a lot of ancillary things also.
You know, one of the things we say is if you love baking cakes, get a job as a baker.
Right.
Don't open a bakery. Because the moment you open a bakery, you're going to find that there are a lot of things like keeping the books and sending out bills and ordering inventory that you've got to do.
Right.
Do you find that a lot of people do just jump into a business without doing the homework as to what it takes to run that business?
A lot of people go into business because they're very passionate about doing this primary work of the business. They haven't taken into consideration some of the other things that have to go along with it. And they also don't realize that if their business really takes off and grows, the thing that they were passionate about doing, they're probably going to have to give that up at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you love, like you say, if you love to bake cakes and your business grows, you're not going to be baking cakes anymore. You're going to be running a business.
Exactly. You're going to delegate that to other people. So we say go into business because you want to run a business.
Right.
If you have something that you love to do, get a job where they'll pay you to do that.
Right.
And we were talking before we were on, I love the little acorn that could that ends up growing into the mighty oak. And this is an important concept. You know, I turned that around too fast, but it's an important concept because there's a lot of power here and a lot of potential.
Yes.
But you have to be able to, as you say, let go and delegate to make that happen.
One of the things we find is that as a business grows, if the founder, the entrepreneur, doesn't let go and delegate tasks, then he or she becomes the constraint to growth.
Right.
A lot of people like to have that control, though. They start a business because they want control of what they're doing. So how do you learn to let go and let others do things for you, to delegate?
Well, there are ways to learn how to do that, and one of the things to remember is you don't necessarily have to continue to grow. If you get your business to a certain size where it's throwing off enough cash, it's profitable, and you're happy with the size it is, that's fine. But if you do want to grow, then you are going to have to delegate to others, and this can be really tough for some entrepreneurs.
And the challenge for a lot of people is that when they delegate decision-making responsibility to other people, it means they lose a measure of control. And that's a real challenge. We saw a lot of businesses where the owners wouldn't give up decision-making authority, and as a consequence, they become overwhelmed and they become the constraint to growth in their own business.
And a lot of that has to do with trust, because you have to build a company with people you trust. And in these recent days, we've heard a lot about companies that have gone under, or people who have taken mistrusted people.
And that's one of the three things we say that you have to have before you can effectively delegate. So you have to have the right managers in place, the right people that you trust.
Right. Number two is you have to have documented process. That tells your employees exactly what you want them to do within the business without you actually having to be there to oversee every single action.
And the third thing is you have to have metrics. You have to have metrics that let you know what's going on in the bowels of the business, although you're not personally involved. That's how entrepreneurs and business owners can sleep at night.
Yes, that is really what gives them that safety net. But as you said, we go into how to do these things, which I think makes our business book a little bit different than a lot of the other books out there.
The book is
Great
called Let
tips.
Go to Grow. Doug and Polly White, thanks so much for joining us today. You two are a great pair. You work together
Yeah.
very well.
Step by
Thank
step
you.
they go.
That's right.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks for joining us today here on Virginia This Morning. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 9.